Hello, and welcome to the latest episode of Sequestered Storytime. This is a special holiday edition of Sequestered Storytime. This is a special holiday edition of Sequestered Storytime. We've got a book called The Christmas Whale. We've got stuff from the Wonderland Spectacle Co. We're going to try to sing Christmas carols, and I'm going to introduce you to a new Hanukkah song that we made, me and my puppets. Let's get started. Next up, we've got a book that I'm going to read called The Christmas Whale. I thought it was kind of a appropriate book to read because it's about Santa's reindeer all catching the flu and what Santa has to do to save Christmas. So let's read. Today we're going to be reading a book called The Christmas Whale. It's got a very cool cover, don't you think? And it is written and illustrated by Roger Duvosin. And it was published in 1945. The Christmas Whale. What a blustering, freezing, nipping wind blew at the North Pole that year. Snowdrifts piled so high around Santa's igloo that the red chimney, sticking out, looked like a red cherry on top of a cream pie. Santa had to dig a tunnel to come out of the house, and each day he had to make the tunnel longer, for the snow would not stop falling. "I dare say it's worse than the blizzard of '88, said Santa, coming out of the tunnel one day. Small wonder that in such weather, Blitzen the reindeer suddenly felt a chill run down his back and had to be put to bed with aspirin, hot tea, and a hot water bottle. So Blitzen is not feeling so good. Small wonder that Vixen, in the middle of a game of solitaire, then Comet, as he was practicing on the flute, and then all of Santa's reindeer, one after the other, felt the chill down their backs and had to be put to bed with aspirin, hot tea, and hot water bottles. It was a flu epidemic. Curse the snow, and the wind, and the cold, and the flu, cried Santa. They would do that to my reindeer just before Christmas. And Santa sat at his desk to telephone to his doctor. Get your dog sleigh ready and come over at once. It's urgent. So there's all the sick reindeer. When the doctor came in, Santa trotted behind him from bed to bed, looking very worried. Well, nothing very grave, said the doctor, after taking the last reindeer's temperature. 2 or 3 weeks in bed and everything will be all right. All right, exclaimed Santa, wringing his hands in despair. All right with Christmas only a week away? But that's a catastrophe. What shall I do? Who will draw my sleigh? That's a catastrophe. A catastrophe, repeated Santa when the doctor had left. That's what it is, a catastrophe. And he brooded so much that Mrs. Santa called him 4 times for lunch before he even heard. He's looking real sad there. Now don't despair and eat your soup before it's cold, said Mrs. Santa. You still have 8 long days to find a way out of your troubles. 8 days, Santa lamented after dinner. That's a real catastrophe. Buy all the chimneys, buy all the stockings, buy all the Christmas trees in the world. That's a catastrophic catastrophe. That's the end of part 1 of The Christmas Whale. Okay, class, today we're going to be singing some Christmas carols.
Hooray!
Let's start with Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer. Me, 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 me. You. 1, 2, 3, 4. Rudolph the red-nosed reindeer had a very shiny nose. And if you ever saw it,
Hey,
you
Jeff.
would even say... What? What is it, Summerful Sheep?
How did they know Rudolph had a red nose if he was wearing a mask?
I don't know if Rudolph's wearing a mask.
You're supposed to wear your mask over your mouth and your nose. So how did they know it was red?
I guess you're right. We wouldn't know the color of Rudolph's nose if he was wearing a mask. All right, let's try another one. Let's try Frosty the Snowman. Ready? 1, 2, 3, 4. Frosty the Snowman was a jolly happy soul, with a corncob pipe and a button nose and 2 eyes made out of coal. What is it, Powderhouse Pickle Jar?
Same question. How did they know he had a button nose if he was wearing his mask?
Yeah, I guess we wouldn't know that he had a button nose, would we? Okay, let's try another one. How about the Christmas song? It's called the Christmas song, but everyone knows it by chestnuts roasting on an open fire. Chestnuts roasting on an open fire. Jack Frost nipping at your...
The nose thing again.
Why are all Christmas songs obsessed with noses? Okay, let's regroup, and we'll try again. Hanukkah. Happy Hanukkah. The day this is first airing will be the 3rd day of Hanukkah. And we made a little video that sort of explains why we light the menorah each night of Hanukkah.
Maura the Menorah went to Florida. She waved bye-bye and said sayonara. She told her friends that she won't be back again, at least until the day after tomorrow. One day Maura got out of bed. She had a question, so she said, I am curious, and so I would really like to know why I have 9 candles on my head. She asked her good friend Scout what all the candles were about. Scout said, beats me, but I know who you should see. Go see Alaka down south. Maura the Menorah went to Florida. She waved bye-bye and said sayonara. She told her friends that she won't be back again, at least until the day after tomorrow. In Florida, she climbed up on a table and said, my dear Laka, if you're able, can you tell me why I have candles number 9? Please give me your expert appraisal. The Laka said, dear Maura, I don't know why your golden head is aglow. I'm a tater fried in oil, not an expert nor a moil. You should talk to the dreidel on the floor. Maura the Menorah went to Florida. She waved bye-bye and said sayonara. She told her friends that she won't be back again, at least until the day after tomorrow. She asked the dreidel named Yuri, why are all these candles on me? Yuri said, I know why. I'm about to blow your mind when I tell you about the Maccabees. There was a mean king named Antiochus. He conquered our land and was mean to us. He also told the Jews that they had to worship Zeus, and he even took over for their temples. Then there was brave Judah Maccabee, who rounded up his own army. Antiochus was beat and his troops did retreat, so the Maccabees went back to their temple. But when they went back inside, they couldn't believe their eyes. There were cracks on the floor, and what was even worse was there wasn't enough oil for the candles. They had enough oil for one night, so with it the menorah they did light. But a miracle occurred, and the candles burned and burned. Their menorah stayed aglow for 8 nights. And that's why we celebrate Hanukkah, and we eat oily foods like latkes. Our menorahs we do light a candle for each night, to celebrate for mothers and for fathers. So Maura the Menorah came back from Florida. She felt so glad she danced the hora. She said to her friends, I come back again, and I won't go to Florida anymore.
All right, we're back to part 2 of the Christmas Whale. As you'll recall, All of Santa's reindeer had come down with the flu, and Santa has to figure out what to do. While Santa thus lamented and walked back and forth in his igloo with no idea coming to him, all his friends, the North Pole animals, talked of nothing but the flu epidemic and the coming Christmas. Poor old Santa, they said to one another. Imagine his missing the first Christmas in 500 years, and with all these toys and gifts piled up in the big shed. Couldn't we find a way to help him? Ah, said the Huskies. If we could only fly, wouldn't we draw Santa's sleigh through the skies? But we can't, alas. Ah, said the white bears, if we could swim like the porpoises, we would make a boat out of the sleigh and draw it through the waves. But we can't, alas. I love the drawings in this book. Ah, said the walruses and the seals, if we could gallop fast like the wind, we would sweep the sleigh round the world. But we can't, alas. This was terrible. And us gulls, said the gulls, if we were as strong as albatrosses, we would draw the sleigh. But we aren't, alas. Well, said the cod, he was full of good fish sense. Fine intentions won't help Santa. What he needs is one idea with no ifs in it. And mind you, I have one. The cod called Santa, who was still walking back and forth by himself, now in his igloo, now at the edge of the ice, and said, Stop walking and muttering for a moment and listen to me, Santa, and your worries will swim away like frightened sardines. What you want is something fast enough, strong enough to carry your packages around the world. I have that thing for you. The whale. Her back is as broad as an iceberg. She is as strong as the waves in a storm, and she is as fast as the wind. Go and ask her. My little cod, said Santa, I think you are the cleverest fish in all the seas. I'm going to see the whale right now. The whale was playing far away among the gray waves, and Santa whistled and tramped and shouted, almost until dinner time before she noticed him. Then she came at once, splashing the icy water around her. She got Santa all wet. Let's pause it there.
Next, we have a video from our good friends, the Wonderland Spectacle Co.
Wonderland Spectacle Company presents Snow!
How to make paper snowflakes. Here's what you'll need. Paper and scissors. Fold the paper like this.
That is one of the folds we need.
Then cut the edge off, and you'll get a square. Mark the center point, then fold the paper in thirds from the point. Then cut the outer points off to make it look like a snow cone wrapper. You can make decorative cuts at the top and the sides. Rounded shapes, little notches, triangles. You can experiment. Fun to see how they look when you open them up. It's always a surprise. This one has feathery spokes with stars on the ends. And this one has curved edges. Now you have a real six-pointed snowflake. Ta-da! You can tape them to your window, or you can make a chain of them to decorate your house.
Or you can use your paper snowflakes to start a snowstorm.
Now it's time to make it snow. Let me get the snowflakes. Here they are. Throw your snowflakes out the window.
Actually, snow forms when temperatures get so cold that moisture in the air freezes into ice crystals that then fall from the clouds. Let's build a snow person. The next day, we went to Tartikoff Park in Malden to go sledding. And we found the oaks and maples and birches at the top of the hill were full of blue jays. You can recognize blue jays by their blue, black, and white feathers and the crest that sticks up on top of their heads. Blue jays dine on insects, worms, fruits, nuts, seeds, and even other birds' eggs. They are particularly fond of acorns from oak trees, hiding and burying them to eat later. Let's go sledding!
All right, class, I've got one last Christmas carol to sing. It's the 12 Days of Christmas.
Hooray!
On the first day of Christmas, my true love gave to me a partridge in a pear tree. On the second day...
Hey, Jeff. Can I ask about the partridge?
Look, before you say anything, let's just assume that everyone in this song is wearing a mask. Okay, good. On the second day of Christmas, my true love gave to me 2 turtle doves and a partridge.
Hey, Jeff, are the turtle doves in the same pod as the partridge in the pear tree?
I don't know if they're in the same pod.
Because they really shouldn't be hanging out together if they're not podded up.
Let's say, just for the sake of argument, let's say everybody in the song are in the same pod. Okay? Alright. On the third day of Christmas, my true love gave to me 3 French hens, 2 turtle doves, and a partridge in a pear.
Hey, Jeff.
Yes.
Were those French hens tested before they were in this song? Did they get a swab put up their nose?
Okay. Everyone in the song tested negative for the virus.
And aren't they supposed to quarantine for 14 days before hanging out?
And they all quarantined for 14 days before the singing of the song. Alright, where are we now? Day 4. On the 4th day of Christmas, my true love gave to me 4 calling birds, 3 French hens, 2 turtle doves, and a pot.
Jeff!
What is it now?
What state are the calling birds in?
Yeah, and what time is it supposed to be when you're singing the song?
What state are they in? I don't know what state they're in. And what time is it? What time is it in the song? I don't know what state they're in, and I don't know what time it is in the song. Why would that matter at all?
Well, different states have different rules about public gathering.
Yeah, for example, Massachusetts, indoor gatherings can only have 10 residents.
And the gatherings have to end by 9:30. Let's see. 4 calling birds,
3 French hens,
2 turtle doves,
and 1 partridge.
plus don't forget the singer and the true love.
That's 11!
I'm gonna go call the police!
No, you don't have to call the police. No, it's okay.
Well, maybe they don't live in Massachusetts.
Yeah, and if they're the partridges in New York State, there's a cap at 10 people for indoor and outdoor gatherings.
Yeah, but in Arizona, the gatherings can be as large as 50 people, so are they in Arizona?
Yeah, and Colorado, I think it's like New York, where there can't be more than 10 or more people. And it can only be from 2 households.
And in Iowa...
So, the day that I'm recording this, it's a very cloudy day. It actually seems like it's going to snow any second. And the table that I'm recording on is a sheet of ice. Let's watch a video about snow. All right, let's continue our reading of The Christmas Whale. As you'll recall, all of Santa's reindeer had come down with the flu, and so Santa had just gone to ask a whale for help. So the last page I read was, the whale was playing far away among the gray waves, and Santa whistled and tramped and shouted almost until dinner time before she noticed him. Then she came at once, splashing the icy water around her. She got Santa all wet. She was indeed kind and obliging. "I am ready. When do I start?" she said simply when she heard what Santa wanted. The very next day, Santa rubbed his hands with joy, while the walruses, the seals, the white bears and the gulls came to fetch the mountain of Christmas packages, which stood in the big shed. One by one, the packages were carried away to the water's edge. This is a cool double-page spread. To be piled into a new mountain on the broad back of the kindly whale. So many boxes were brought up that the kindly whale stood lower and lower in the water. Another double-page spread for you. Watch my waterline, she warned. Don't let me sink below it. I've got to breathe, you know. She was so frightened that she would not let Santa put a last little box of building blocks on the top of the mountain. It was all safely tied up with Christmas ribbons. We'll take it next year, said Santa. While the white bears, the walruses, the seals, the gulls, and Mrs. Santa cheered, ... So there was one present they couldn't fit. While the white bears, the walruses, the seals, the gulls, and Mrs. Santa cheered, Santa and the kindly whale departed. Santa was so happy that he whistled jingle bells almost all the way to New York, which was the first stop. Upon their arrival in New York, a pilot climbed upon the head of the kindly whale to lead her into the harbor toward two little tugboats which waited to push her gently to the pier. The pier soon looked like an ant nest, with little men running to and fro, carrying packages on their backs, while the customs officers watched with indulgent smiles and never opened as much as one package for inspection. From New York, Santa, the kindly whale, went to South America, and to Africa, and to Europe, and to Australia, and then, very weary but very happy, they went back home to the North Pole, knowing that in spite of the flu, gift-giving would go on that Christmas, just as it had for the past years. The icy cold water of the north never felt so deliciously refreshing to the kindly whale, just as the odor of the hot leek soup which Mrs. Santa had prepared for Santa never seemed more appetizing to him. Really, he said to Mrs. Santa as she helped him put on his warm slippers, I have found whale traveling extremely convenient. If there were not so many pictures and stories about my reindeer and me, I would ask the kindly whale more often. After all, on Christmas cards, I would look just as glorious riding a whale as I do driving my sleigh. Whales are very decorative. And that's the end. It's the end of The Christmas Whale, written and illustrated by Roger Devoyson.
So that's it. The holiday edition of Sequestered Storytime. Hope you have a happy holiday and a happy new year. I guess I should, in the spirit of the season, I'll bring back my annoying dancing friend. So yeah, happy holidays. We'll see you soon. He won't be here. Bye.
Bye.